if you feel any difficulty in listening or seeing my screen.
Maybe you need to move.
Right, so I've already discussed about the breaks over here, the courseware and agenda. So we'll look into the modules just now. And we are already 161, and I can see many of you by your name. Yeah. Okay. So if you have not started, with a Trailhead, or you don't have your account created in a Trailhead, you can definitely create one right now, and you can sign up for your Trailhead account, and you can use this Trailhead account not just to solve your trails or for your learning path or earning badges. This Trailhead is also going to guide you with your certification path. So you need to now merge your Trailhead account with your certification account in Salesforce, and you can take your maintenance exam via Trailhead as well. So I'll talk about it once again when we'll certification and Trailhead merging account once we'll finish the track. So as it's a platform developer one, and we will be talking about mostly Epics, Social, DML, Visual Force pages, the best practices. Pattern. There are going to be 8 modules altogether. So module 1, which will just an introduction to course and the exam. Module 2 is the Salesforce fundamentals. 3 is all about data modeling and data management. In module 4, we'll talk about logic and process automation, which is going to include your trigger and other process automations, declarative options available to us. Module 5 is going to be continued a part of logic and process automation again. Module 6 is going to be user interface, and 7 is testing, and 8 is going to be certification preparation resources. So we'll get to see some resources as well. And I'm planning to share some 20, 30 questions to you, and maybe we'll go one by one and take 10 questions in a go. So somewhere around 30 questions I have in that particular sample paper. So I'm planning to show you that set as well. So let's see. Introduction to the course and the exam. All right. So AW Computing is our organization, which will take as a case study organization. Which is actually a organization based out on computers and electronics peripherals. They deal with the selling of computer peripherals like printer, servers, desktop, laptops. So they have their sales application already configured, and they also have their service application configured to help their customer with the problems, issues, and concerns with the products that they've purchased. They are based out in San Francisco, and their employee size is 750, and the ownership is private. So what we are going to do with AW Computing is currently AW Computing have sales and service cloud application. So they also have a requirement from the customer that they need to help their customer with certified people on the product. So, for example, if somebody has bought 2,000 printers from AW Computing, they need somebody to help with the printer issues. If printer is not working, cartridge is showing a problem, printer is not printing, there can be a number of problems with the hardware and software. So they need somebody who will be equipped to handle. And as a customer, they don't want to hire anybody, so mostly they are going to take help from AW Computing. So now AWS computing needs another application apart from Sales and Service Cloud to help their customer to solve their issues, their problems and concerns related to the product, which cannot be just sorted with the Service Cloud. It is not just a chat or phone call or a problem issues. They need a person from AW Computing who can be there, ideally on a client side or going every day and helping them with the problems on the floor. So that's where AW Computing requires to build an application. Okay, is that landscape clear to you? They are the developer team here. So Ryan Jackson is lead Salesforce programmatic developer. We have Casey. Uh, she's going to take care of again development, and we have Jason, who's also a programmatic developer. Now we're going to see the ER diagram roughly, or how our objects are related for the certification application. So the certification application is the custom application that AW Computing requires, or they are going to build, so that they can provide the technician or technical person who can help with the product, hardware or software to the AW Computing's customer. So as we already have an account object available from our Sales and Service Cloud, and we have contact. So we understand the relationship between account and contact. It's one to many. So I'm going to use the same account as a service vendor account with the help of record types. So we are going to create record types on account. One would be customer account, and second record type would be service vendor account. Then we'll have a contact. We can again use record type for the contact. So one is our generic customer contact, and second record type will be building for technician contact. So we'll be using our pretty old table of account and contact to solve the purpose of service vendor and the technician. Now we need all the technician to participate in the course. So we want them to certified on a particular course so that they can help the customer related to that area. So for example, if I want somebody to help in the Cisco server, I want that technician to attend the course on Cisco server. And once he did attend the course, I want him to take a certification on that particular technology. And once he passed that certification, he is all set to help the customer with their problems and concerns related to the product. So every course, for example, if it is a Cisco server, will have multiple deliveries happening. So one delivery is happening, let's say in Singapore, starting from 6th of April. Another delivery is happening in Sydney, which is starting on 11th of April. Third delivery is scheduled to happen in Bangalore, which is starting again on 6th of April. So one course can have multiple deliveries scheduled, and people can choose or technician can choose where they would like to go and participate for the delivery. So that's why course and delivery has one-to-many relationship. Similarly, we see another object there, which is attendee. So every delivery will have multiple attendees. For example, here we have a delivery happening and we have around 200 participants. So one delivery can have multiple attendees. That's why the relationship between delivery and attendee is one-to-many. Who all is going to be an attendee over here? Our pretty old same technician contact. So those technicians will participate in different deliveries. For example, somebody who's going to be Cisco server technical person need to first understand the client server architecture, so he will attend one delivery for that. Then he will attend one delivery for Cisco server. So he became attendee of two different deliveries coming from two different courses. Okay. Now once he did attend the course, it's time for the certification. So the same person who attended a course will take certification. So every certification aligned with one or many courses. For example, if somebody is going to take certification for Cisco server, he need to attend two courses, one on a client server architecture and second on a Cisco server. So certification and course has one-to-many relationship, where certification is parent and course is many. We also have element object. Now how this element is related to the certification, as I see there is one-to-many relationship. For example, there is one certification which comes in two part. So you have to pass both the part to be certified. For example, there is multiple choice question as part one, and there is development section as a part two. So to be certified on that particular product, we need to write or we need to pass both the exams, a multiple choice question and second element for development. So we need to develop a particular product, a small case study kind of thing. So that's how the element is related to certification. So one certification can have multiple elements. And once we plan to take a certification, so we need to decide which element, and then we'll take our attempt for that particular element. So this attempt will be taken by a particular attendee. That's why the relationship from contact to attempt is one-to-many. So one technician can attempt multiple times. For the same element, if he fails in the first attempt, then he will go to the second attempt. Or the same technician will attempt different elements. Or the same technician will attempt element from different certification. So same technician can be a certified professional for a particular attempt. So one person can take multiple attempts for different certification or different elements. And that's how your element can have multiple attempts. So if I try to take one attempt for a particular element and I fail, bad luck there, in first attempt. So that is one attempt in the failed status. Then I'll prepare hard and I'll come back and I'm going to take certification attempt again for the same element, and I will pass in this time. So one element can have multiple attempts. So once an attendee pass all the element of a particular certification, in that scenario, he will gain a certified credential. So for certified credential, we are going to create certification held record for a contact as well as for certification. So if you look into this held object, can you tell me what kind of relationship is that?
Many to many.
Right. So it's a junction object to establish many-to-many relationship between certification and contact. Great. So this is our object data model. Why we are looking into this particular object data model? Because all our upcoming slide and understanding of the topic will be based out on this one, on this particular data model. So let me know if you have any question from this. Yeah, sure. So I'll explain you the data model once again, and then we'll see if you have any more questions there. So just give me a moment here. I'll just sort out my connection with the power. So just give me a minute here, and I'll come back and explain you the data model. Okay, once again here. So as you see, we have an account and contact object coming from our old sales and service cloud application. So I'm going to create a record type on account of type service vendor. So I'm going to use the same account table to store service vendor, a vendor who will be providing technicians. So the difference between account customer and account service vendor would be account customer is from whom I'm generating my revenue. And cloud service vendor would be an account to whom I need to pay. Whereas contact is a pretty old contact object, and we are using again a record type to build a technician contact over here. So a contact from a customer would be customer contact. A contact from a service vendor account type would be known as technician. Now I'll go back to the another question. Held object. So what is certification held object? So the certification held object is again another custom object which is going to point who as a technician passed which certification. So this one object will tell us who as a user passed which all certification, or which certification is passed by which all technician. Because it's a many to many, we can actually establish both side of relationship, or we can look at the record from both the direction. So to be a certified technician, there is a process. So every technician need to attend a course which is aligned with one particular certification. Now this course will have multiple deliveries happening across the world. So as a technician, I can pick and choose which place, which date I would like to attend this course. So every course will have multiple deliveries happening. So if I chose a delivery happening in a Sydney, so that's going to be one particular delivery. And from that delivery, or in that delivery, we'll have multiple attendee. So like this is one delivery happening, which we are doing for a prep on CRT 450, and we all are attendees over here. So same technician can attend multiple deliveries for different courses. So can attend a course on client-server architecture, for example, can also attend a course on Cisco server, can also attend a course on networking. So the same contact will be attendee for different courses, and that's why same contact can be attendee multiple times. And that is why the relationship between contact and attendee is one to many. Now, we'll go to the certification row. So once we are done with the attending a course, the technician can go to take a certification. So once he will pass one particular certification, that certification can be aligned with multiple courses. For example, to be certified Cisco server person, I need to clear client server architecture course. I also need to attend some networking fundamental course and then Cisco course. So when I'm done with all three courses, I have my fundamentals right. I have got all my foundations built, and then I'm ready to take the certification. So that's why the relationship between certification and course is one to many. Whereas every certification can have one or more elements. So there can be one certification which is only going to have one element, for example, multiple choice question. There can be another certification which can have more than one element, like multiple choice question as element one, and developing a small case study as element two. So when I pass all the elements coming from a particular certification, then only I will be certified, right? Now, every element can have multiple attempts taken. So for example, I'm taking the element 1 for certification Cisco server, and I failed in that particular element in my first chance. I'm going to take that element attempt once again. That is why you see element and attempt one-to-many relationship. So if we have to see whether attempt is a junction object or not, we need to look at the attempt object and the type of relationship that we have built with the element and the contact. Ideally, to have a junction object and many-to-many relationships established, we require two master detail relationship on child object or on a junction object, which we are going to look. So if I look into the diagram, yeah, it looks like a junction object. It looks like a object on which I have established many-to-many relationship. But this is not just the reason of being an attempt object there. Attempt is also going to solve my business scenario. So the purpose of attempt is not just being in junction, but also to solve a business here. So the type of relationship that we are going to establish on attempt with element in contact will decide whether it is a junction object. So I can have two lookup relationship, which will give me a look and view of many-to-many relationship. So I can say, yes, it's a junction object. But am I establishing MD to form actually junction object? If not, then it's not a junction object. Right. All right, so I'll go and take a second question. Yeah, sure. So let me take you to the example with the certification and element concept using SFDC. Oh, that's going to be a great example here. So we are taking Platform Developer 1 certification. That's actually a developer certification. So we call it Salesforce Developer Certification. The Salesforce Developer Certification is coming in with the two elements. One is PD1 and second is PD2. So when we pass PD1, we become Platform Developer 1 certified. And when we go and take attempt on a PD2 and we pass that too, we will be Salesforce certified developer. Okay. So we can take an example of Salesforce developer certification, which comes in with two elements, PD1 and PD2. So I take attempt of PD1. When I pass PD1, I just pass that element. When I also go and pass PD2, which is actually a development assignment, then I'm actually finally certified as a Salesforce developer. Okay, so I have a question. Do we have lookup filters on attendee in health? Of course. So attendee is actually, if you look, it's a child object. So we will be having a lookup to choose course attendee and course delivery. So it depends. Are we going directly to the course attendee tab and creating a new attendee? So it will ask you to look up for the contact, look up for the course delivery. If I'm going to the delivery and from there I'm creating an attendee, so delivery will be populated. I just need to select the contact. Similarly, in the health, Yes, if I'm creating a relationship, so there will be lookup from held to certification and from held to technician or contact. So yes, we will get filters or we will get lookup over there. So lookup filters, basically, if you want to go for only those attendees who has passed certain courses or only go for the deliveries which are scheduled. I don't want to create any attendee or ensure or schedule any enroll any attendee if the delivery is already cancelled. So that can be a valid lookup filter from delivery to attendee. So only those deliveries can be taken from the attendee in the status of scheduled. If the delivery is already cancelled or already in progress or already delivered, then there is no scope of adding any more attendee to it. So is a held a junction object? Yes, most probably. Yeah, it's going to be a junction object only. Certification should have a many-to-many relationship with course. So one course can have many certification. Is that what we are trying to establish? So let's see. One certification, to pass one, you can attend multiple courses. But to once I'm done with one particular certification, can give you more than one certification if that's how you want to plan the business. If that is what your business want, then possibly yes. But if I look into our Salesforce environment, then if I do one course, I'm probably going to align with one particular certification. So if I pass PD1, I'll only be certified on a PD1. There's no scope of getting ATM certification. But in a different business scenario, possibly, yes, your certification and course can also be many to many. Okay, so I'm going for a next question then. Attempt also a junction object. We'll see that data type, relationship type. If it's MD, then yes. Otherwise, no. Yeah, because contact can have one or more certifications. You don't see it, so there is a held object. So one contact can have multiple held record created over here. So you see the contact and held is related. So because that is a pure scenario of many-to-many relationship, that's why we establish it like that. So one contact can have multiple held. So we are not going directly between contact and certification. We are going through it via junction object. Element object once again. So yeah, so one certification can have multiple elements. For example, our Salesforce developer certification has two elements, PD1 and PD2. So if you pass PD1 and PD2 both, you will be known as Salesforce certified developer. If you go and talk about Oracle certification, for example, and if I want to be Oracle certified professional, I need to pass more than one paper. I need to pass 2 or 3 papers. So those papers are known as elements. So when you pass all the elements, you will be Oracle certified professional. That's why one certification with multiple element. Why there is one-to-many relationship between contact and attendee? Because one contact can be course attendee for multiple courses. So, for example, I am attending PD1. Tomorrow, I will be attending a 402 App Builder course. Tomorrow, day after tomorrow, again, I can go and attend PD2 preparatory. On Thursday, I can go back and attend Lightning component training. So I'm as the same contact attending multiple courses. So if I see the attending list for all these four different courses, I will find this name in all those four lists. So as a one single contact, I will be attendee for multiple courses. So I'm answering and I'm also posting messages on your question span. So if you are clear, then uh, all good. Otherwise, you can throw me a question again on that. So delivery to attendee is one to many person. I have a question here, and they have multiple delivery, but now one delivery have multiple attendee. Delivery to attendee is one to many relationship. That's correct. Persons have many multiple delivery, but now one delivery have multiple attendees. I think I have explained that. One delivery can have multiple attendee. For example, currently we are running one delivery for preparatory on a PD1, and we have 200 plus attendee right now. So one delivery and multiple attendees. I can or somebody else going to run the same delivery somewhere else in the another part of the world, and they will have different attendee list. So one delivery, multiple attendees. All right. So next question, all good. PD1 supposed to be enough, but there's a PD2 as well. That's all right. You can ask me questions as many as time, but just be patient because there are many questions. So I'll take some time to answer all of your questions here. We can say that, okay? Because if junction object means a custom object which has two empty relationship as per the definition. A junction object, if I want to create a junction object with two lookup relationship, ideally it's not a best practice from Salesforce. We advise people, if you want to create a junction object, to go and create two empty relationship. That's a best practice. So when we create a junction object with two lookup, it's not a best scenario because system is divided into two independent objects from each other. So they are not closely coupled. They are not tightly coupled. There is no composition between them. It's an association. And in that case, both the masters will be ruling the child. And there will be a lot of resource consumption from server to ensure the many-to-many or junction object relationship. That's why we advise to have a junction object with two empty relationship. So that way, only such object can be termed as a junction object. But again, junction object is created to have many-to-many relationship. Another question, will all the contacts will be visible or only technician tag? Okay, that depends upon your security settings. Okay, so all the contacts will be visible to somebody who is aligned with technician as well as with customer. So see, customer contact is little confidential data. So if I have an account and I have five point of contact in that account, one in the sales team, one in the legal team, one in the finance team, and two in the procurement team, I don't want to share my contacts with anybody in the team, you know. So that's a little different set of data. So you need to decide the visibility as per the people's profile who's going to use your certification application. So that's totally going to be your security, how you will be decided. Why do we need delivery object in this scenario? Okay, so let's say we are running a course on Platform Developer 1, and I'm running this course in 3 different locations because there are 200 participants. I cannot fit all of them in one single batch. It will be very difficult. So I'm going to break them in 50 each. So I'll be running 4 different sessions in 4 different locations. One in Mumbai, one in Bangalore, one in Singapore, other one in Sydney. So that's why one course can have multiple deliveries. And that deliveries can be spanned across the year. So one course delivery is happening in the month of April, another delivery will happen in the month of May, in June, in July, different instructor, different locations. That's why one course can have multiple deliveries. So if I'm going to connect every attendee directly to the course and just bypass the delivery, then there will be too much of information that I have to feed on a course and attendee. It will not talk about this attendee has attended which course, which date, who was the instructor. So for every attendee, I will have a discrete set of information. So this, if I say one course has many deliveries, if I point to one particular delivery happening in the month of April, so I will get one particular sheet of the attendees. So this will be simpler, modular, and a right structure. Establishing relationship, reporting on such object. If I have to see how many deliveries are happening in the month of April, then I'll end up writing too many circles on a course and attendee. Whereas if I just have a course delivery object in place, I can just report on the course delivery object, which will be simpler. Okay, so I have a question from object. Let me just contact with attendee and delivery and attendee seems to be empty relationship. I'll just show you that in a time, what type of relationship we have built over here. So can we have roll-up summary data type on the attendee object? Depends on the type of the relationship. Definitely, I'm going to show you in my org, okay, what type of relationship that we have built, and see all the type of relationship that you're going to build is totally going to depend on the business scenario. If I'm looking in the particular scenario, it's my perspective for the application, the current status. But when you go and do it in a real time, you gather a lot of information from your product team, lot of information, and on the basis of that you will decide what type of relationship. So I'll discuss few pointers there, what should be the concerns before you go and decide about the relationship in a time. Can a certification have no associated elements? Not possible. So if I'm going to write a certification, I will launch an exam. So either it can be multiple choice question, or it will be a written exam, or it will be a presentation, or it will be Viva. There will be some form of taking certification. So taking different forms for a certification is what element is all about. So if I'm going to test a person on a particular knowledge set, what will be the process to test that person? Will I just ask him a question like an interview or a viva, or will I ask a person to develop the application, or will I ask the person to answer some multiple choice question? So that is a form of taking a certification. That's why every element or every certification will require some form or some element. So I'm answering few of questions right now. So just bear with me, others. Yes. So is the correct understanding account object has two record types and contact has two. Yes. Correct. So I see a lot of people have a held question related to the held object. So I'll repeat this once again. So let's see in the scenario, one technician going to pass multiple certification. If you need to serve multiple technology. For example, being a Salesforce technical person, I am certified on Platform App Builder. I'm certified on Platform Developer 1, and I'm also certified on Admin Track. So, being one technician, I'm certified on three different certifications. That's a one to many relationship from contact to certification. From Similarly, from certification, one certification can be held by multiple technicians. So I'm not the only one who's passed on the PD1 or admin or app builder. There will be many more. So one certification can be held by multiple technicians. So it's a clear case of many to many. In Salesforce, to build many-to-many relationship, I need a junction object or a bridge object. So here, your certification held is or a held object is actually a junction object, which we are using to establish many-to-many relationship. So without held object in Salesforce, technically, we cannot build many-to-many relationships. So that is the way to build many-to-many relationship. So create a junction object, and that junction object will point to two different master. So how can a certification have many courses? So that will be, I have to take an example from outside Salesforce. So to be, let's say, Oracle Certified Associate, I need to pass two papers. So there will be two courses. So there are two elements as well as two courses. Then I'll get one particular certification. So to be an IIT certified or engineering, IIT main entrance, if I want to take that exam, I need to first pass the prelim exam and then I need to take the final exam. So there are the two exams. It means certification and two elements. So if there is any organization or there any institute who is preparing their participants for both the different exams, so they will be running two different courses. There will be many more topics that I'm going to cover: SOCL, social, DML, Apex class, and trigger. So I have very good question over here. I'm going to post this question and I'm sending it to all. Give your thoughts about this question. Okay, so somebody asked me this question, which is very interesting. But so I'm sending it to all, everybody. So you can see that in your question pan now. Can we use a pick list name, delivery method, or type on a course object instead of using delivery object to identify which type of delivery method the attendee used to take the course? So what's your take on that? So there's a question I posted. Can we use a pick list name, delivery method, type on course object instead of using delivery object to identify which type of delivery? Yeah, so let's see this. You have a delivery object, which is not just talking about the type of delivery. It's talking about the location of delivery, who will be the instructor, the start date, the end date, who all will be the attendee of that delivery. So single pick list cannot information. So the single pick list cannot solve our course and delivery one-to-many relationship. So it all depends on which type of information, which all information you want to cover. So if I want to cover the location, the start date, the end date, the instructor, If I want to cover all four, five different information, single picklist cannot cater, so I'll end up creating custom object.